Sorry this took so long, but I finally finished the Epic Hell Nature's Decline and Decay Earth Advent video. This event should just be called, Do You Like 15% in PvE? Because that's basically the theme of this fight. Now I've seen several people approach this different ways. Most of them are using Winter on stage 1, and to be honest, if you do it a method other than the one I'm about to show you, Winter is almost required. I don't like that they've put out an event that basically requires a limited 5-star unit, especially a collaboration one. But here we are. I was just about ready to give up on a relatively free-to-play option, and in this case by free-to-play I mean I'm not using any limited units or limited artifacts. Unfortunately I did have to reach for some ML5 units. It is what it is. This is by no means the only way to beat this fight. It's just the fastest, cleanest way that I found. I was able to bang out all 5 runs in just a few minutes. A guildmate used this method and it worked really well for him, and he was able to bang out all 5 as well. Again, using Winter on the stage 1 fight. I also saw a YouTube video where a guy used this team and was able to complete it. A little bit RNG heavy, but it's an option. But thanks to Baka showing me this tech, here's the team that I used. So, I'd be remiss if once again I didn't mention, make sure you have your adventure currency bonus pet. 16.5%, I mean, it adds up, especially with the high payout from Epic Hell. Now, the first unit on the team is going to be Zahak. You want Zahak to be a little bit fast. I switched him out for attack boots, which is why he's slower than the normal PvP version, to help him do a little bit of additional damage. The EE doesn't really matter, but you do want him on Daydream Joker. It works at about half power, so you still get that 1.5% HP bonus damage. The next unit's going to be Watcher Schuri. He's our principal kill unit. We're going to use him to burst the phase down. Again, the EE doesn't really matter, but you do want him on Daydream Joker. You're going to need a lot of Daydream Jokers for this fight. Next, I'm running Sage Vivian. I tried to run Ilyanov in this position, but I just didn't have enough books to pull up what I need to do on the next phase. So make sure your Sylvan Sage Vivian is running Tagahill's book, and that she's faster than Watcher Schuri. For phase 2, we're going to use Flan. She's going to be one of our principal debuffers. She puts off a defense break and a heal block, and that will help us push phase. That will be 2 of the 3 buffs we need. You want her on Unseen Observer because you need to generate the souls from it. Next is my phase 2 Mushroom Kill unit, and this one's a little tough to make, but you want to have a Politis who is strong enough that when she gets the destruction and attack buff from Flan, that her S3 will one-shot all of the shrooms, but also have high enough effectiveness that she will land 1 to 2 additional debuffs to give us those 4 debuffs we're looking for. Also needs to be on Tagahill's book. And last is our kill unit. We're going to be using a Tagahill's book, Spectre Tenebria. She's overstated. You don't have to be as strong as this. I overkilled substantially. In fact, I did one run where I missed 2 crits because of that 8% there, and or 6% there, and I still cleared, even with 2 missed crits. So you can be a lot weaker on your Stenny. Final phase, I'm going to use Eligos. With a Soulburn, he's a guaranteed defense break and a guaranteed target debuff, and dodging RNG on this is really, really nice. Then we're going to use Auxiliary Lots. He's going to push up our Cermia, and he's carrying the Tagahill's book to make sure that Eligos can Soulburn on his turn. And then I took my best rage gear and made the most cracked Cermia I could build. She only needs 85% effective, or 85% crit chance. Just pump the rest into damage. A pen set would have been better, a torrent set would have been better still, but this is the strongest one I could make her, and put her on DDJ for damage. So here's how the team works. At the start of the fight, he will put the curse on the highest attack unit, which needs to be your Zahak. Zahak will S2, and that will push up Watcher a little bit. Then he'll S3, and that'll give you some damage. Now you want to make sure your Watcher Schuri is also on immunity, because when the boss attacks here, he can push things back, and you don't want him to push your Watcher Schuri back. He can push Sage Vivian back a little bit because she'll still be ahead of Watcher at the speed I have her at. She'll apply the destruction buff onto Watcher Schuri, and Watcher Schuri will S3 and kill. Now, in the entire likely circumstance that the boss pushes up one of the trees ahead of your Watcher Schuri, the tree will heal the boss a little bit, preventing Watcher Schuri from one-shotting, but that's okay if this happens. I went ahead and spliced this clip in to show you.
I'm ready.
Watcher Schuri does his S3, and if yours is like mine and not strong enough to one-shot, leaves him with a little bit of health, but Zahak will cut before he takes another turn, and this allows you to S1 and still push phase. So either way, you'll be good to move on. Now, this is the RNG phase. You need to Soulburn her S3 and get defense break on all 3 targets. Like that. Not like this. And not like this. And most certainly not like this. All sarcasm aside, sticking 4 defense breaks without having 15% happen is not easy. In fact, those were all back-to-back, and there were several others on the other runs. Next, Flan will push up Paladus, giving her a destruction buff and an attack buff so that her S3 can wipe out the shrooms, and then she needs to apply her 2 debuffs. One of the 2 debuffs, she didn't apply enough debuffs. You see, we need 3 on the main target, so more 15% RNG. Here's where I finally got the run down, where I was able to push Paladus up, rip her S3,
It's time for the finale of this little puppet show.
and apply a 3rd or 4th debuff to the boss. All you need is 3. Once you've got the 3 or more debuffs, you start soul burning Stenny. There's 1 hit,
Come near me.
2 hits,
You aren't even fit to kiss my
burn again for the 3rd hit. And you'll see I am way over on damage. This 4th hit overkills tremendously. You'll be able to do it with a far weaker unit. And that pushes us into phase 3. Now the RNG in phase 3 is this attack has to not put Stigma on Cermia. If it puts Stigma on Cermia, your Cermia had better be faster than the boss. Now if you can get your Cermia to do enough damage and have her be able to not get lapped by the boss, you're fine.
Now's my time to shine.
Alots will push up Cermia, give her an attack buff. She'll convert that into a greater attack buff with her S2 into her S3.
honor you with my presence.
And her S3 will almost kill. I'm just a little bit shy on damage, but I'm close enough where Eligos can finish him off with 1 hit. Now, I did this 3 times in a row before I had a failure where Cermia got Stigma put on her. And then I got a second fight where she got Stigma on her, and then I got the 3rd fight and she didn't get Stigma, and I cleared the fight for a 3rd time. But it kind of struck me that that's some pretty heavy RNG when Stigma gets placed on 2 of the 3 units, especially after all of the RNG you just went through in the prior phase. So although it involves a limited unit, if you have Biken, this is a much better team 3. So I'm not going to review the units on the first teams because there's no changes, but on team 2 you're going to want to run a very slow Mediator Cleric. I broke his speed set and gave him HP boots. Don't really need to do much else other than make him slow. You want to also run a very slow Issaria and give her Song of Stars and enough effectiveness where she can have enough to stick a debuff. It'd be 85% or more. And the 3rd unit is going to be Biken. I put her on Daydream Joker and gave her the same rage set I gave Cermia. She needs to be the slowest unit on the team, and in hindsight, I probably should have given her effectiveness to stick more bleeds. If you give her effectiveness, you could drop her damage down and make it more stable.
You're getting in my way. I'll do my best.
So I'll just let this play through. It's the same fight as before, where Zahak pushes up Watcher, does a little bit of damage, Sylvian applies her destruction buff, her crit damage buff, and that will let Watcher one-shot the boss. And if one of the trees pushes ahead of Watcher, Watcher almost kills the boss, and Zahak will lap and finish him off with an S1. Into the next phase. Once again, we're at RNG's mercy. We try to get 3 defense, or all 4 units defense broken, and ideally 2 debuffs on the boss. Okay, we got the 4 debuffs, or 4 defense breaks, but we need 2 more debuffs, so Politis is going to have to stick both of her S3 debuffs on the boss to progress. Got them both, so we're going to go ahead and push phase then. So we Soulburn Stenny 3 times and then drop her S3 for the 4th hit, and that will remove the counter attack buff.
You want to try me?
Again, my Stenny is way overhorsed for this. You can drop her power down quite a bit.
At least try to make it fun.
So in phase 3, when Stigma lands, even if it lands on Viken, you can use Mediator Quirk's S3 to cleanse it, and this will give attack buff. It can really be anybody in place of Mediator Quirk that can cleanse and give an attack buff. He was just the first one to jump to mind. Maid Chloe would work as well too. Another 15% check, you've got to land defense break and probably target. Unless your Viken is a lot stronger than mine, you'll need target. You S2, I didn't get any bleeds. If I'd gotten even 1 bleed, this would have killed. But you can see, even with no bleeds, it took him right up against the edge, and I'll be able to finish him off with just an S3 or S1 from Zahak, or for Zahak from Mediator Quirk. So this is what I was talking about, where if you put 85% effectiveness on your bike and you stick 2 or 3 bleeds, you'll blow them to pieces. So that's it. It's a lot of RNG checks. It's a lot of getting frustrated at it, but at least it's fast. Each round goes by very quickly, so you don't mind the RNG so much because it doesn't take long to get there. The entire fight's just a few minutes, and I was able to clear out all 5 runs in about a half an hour. I hope this video helps you out. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good one, everybody.